Hello everyone and welcome back to SAFC Fan TV, and my hair's a little bit all over. Unfortunately there'll be no Thursday Night Live this evening due to circumstances in the channel. There's a lot of people unavailable and things like that, so we won't be going live tonight, but we didn't want to just not mention the Arsenal game, not give it any thought. So me and Dino have put our heads together. We're going to do a quick little review of the game, just so we can at least talk about it and get our thoughts on that covered, really. 5-1 defeat, and Dino crashing out of the Carabao Cup in the quarterfinals. It's not often, really, that you can come away from a 5-1 defeat, I think, and actually have the word proud as an emotion coming away from the game. Is that something that you felt as well?
Yeah, especially the first half. I thought, to be fair, there was times in the first half where we were probably the better team. There was this period where we had more possession than them. And Arsenal, everyone knows Arsenal is the possession team who like to keep the ball and knock it around and stuff like that. In the first half, I mean, we conceded a sloppy first goal. Poor Morgan, but I mean, yeah, it was poor Morgan, to be fair. People will say Lee Birch could have done better. He just reacted already. Just got a save onto it, and Eddie Nketiah was right in front of him, and that's just really unfortunate. And then the second goal, I'm trying to remember the second goal actually. Jack, what was the second goal? I can't remember.
It was Nikolai Pepe running kind of came.
Oh, is that the one where hit off Doyle, where they overloaded on the right?
Cedric overlapped, played it back in.
But I mean, they were doing that quite a bit. They were overloading the right side and the left side, and we didn't know what to do. And they were always having they had one man free every time because
I think that goal, as was probably basically every goal after the first, was just an example of their extra quality carving us open. They move the ball so quickly, the movement's so fluid that, right, maybe if you're nitpicking, you might be able to think, well, someone could have been in a better position or whatever. But I think their second goal was just a real example of how, players that cost £73 million act on a football pitch. And they just had far too much quality for us to deal with, really.
Well, that was always going to happen. Like, you can only fight it out for so long until the quality shows. And first half, I thought we fought out really well. I thought we had some really nice passes of play. We were getting stuck in. I mean, Dan Neil looked really, really good in the centre. Broadhead was running at people. Everyone really played the part. We're trying to pass out from the back, and our goal was a lot of. It was like a Premier League goal. It was quality. It really was. We Pritchard broke the ball up, nicked it round the corner there. Pritchard finds Embleton, who threads a lovely through ball to Broadhead, and that finish. I mean, a Premier League striker would be proud of that finish. It was a beautiful finish. Just dinked it over Leno. Just a nice little finish. And then, unfortunately, Broadhead gets injured. And to be fair, when he gets injured, that's when the game changes. As soon as he gets injured, we lose that bit of pace. We bring Hume on. We change the formation. And then it just goes downhill from there because we had to change the formation just for the personnel we do have. But the first half, I was so proud of the boys. I mean, it was actually exciting. Like, every time we were attacking, I just went, go on. I was getting so excited. It was like, if we play like that every game in the first half, if we play like that for 90 minutes against any of the League One teams, we win.
That was my exact words when I wrote about the game on ALS. You play that against any League One team, it's going to be a whitewash. I mean, just an hour goal, I think it was just one moment of a few players, pure quality. Pritchard had 3 Arsenal players around him and just so calmly and confidently kept the ball. Not only played it over to Neil, but played it into the path of Dan Neil. Neil, pretty standard pass over Embleton. Embleton, a through ball, which actually cut between the two centre-halves. Cut Ben White, £50 million centre-half, completely out of the game, perfectly weighted. And like you say, Broadhead, that's the type of finish you'd see in the Premier League. Outside of the boot, cool, calm, collected. Didn't really stress at all, didn't overthink it. Just lovely little dink over Bernard Leno, who, I mean...
Do you know what the difference is, Jack? Do you know what the difference is? This was our cup final. Do you know how everyone goes,
yeah,
it's the cup final? This was our cup final. I know, like, we're in League One and, like, these League One players, that was their cup final. They played against a team who half of them probably wouldn't even be able to play against, like, because they're playing League One and Championship. Like, playing against Arsenal is a big thing for these players. Not for us as fans, because we've played Arsenal that many times over the years. But these players, it's the first time they've ever come up probably against quality opposition like that, a stadium like that. I mean, our fans were brilliant as normal. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Arsenal fans, I thought they were a little bit quiet, to be fair.
No, oh, it was dead silent.
Yeah, I mean, Sunderland fans always make the atmosphere, and I mean, when the second half kicks off and they score that goal, you knew where it was going from there. It was
Yeah,
just a matter. It was just a matter. It was just a matter of how many they're going to score, and I was happy at 4-1, but when they got that fifth, I was like, yeah, that's a bit of a blow, like, because 4-1 isn't that bad, but when they stick one in the last minute, I think it was Eddie Nketiah's little flick goal. I think that was the last goal,
yeah,
if
yeah.
I
I mean,
remember.
I think that was either the third or the fourth, that one. I think what I would also say is that, yes, on paper it was 5-1, but that game isn't really reflective of the 5-1 scoreline. Don't get us wrong, I think they deserved to win. I think throughout the 90 minutes they were they did perform better than we did. Of course, no shame in that at all. But I think, to be honest, if you're looking at the entire 90 minutes, I think it was a fairly close encounter. What I said is we gave them a game of football. We didn't just sit on the edge of our own box and defend for our lives. It was fairly end to end. I mean, we ended up having 6 shots on target, 12 shots overall. There was a lot of times we went forward, and if maybe things had just went slightly differently, we might have had an extra few chances, and that might have had an extra few goals, or might have managed to convert a few more chances.
Well, you forget. I know you said shots on target, but Emblen hit the post. That doesn't count as a shot on
Yeah,
target. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? I mean,
Embleton cut into on
first
the right.
half, like first half, we went for it 100%. We attacked. Like, I was expecting it to be like an Arsenal training game where them just pass the
Yeah,
ball around and we just defend for our lives and hope we can. It wasn't like that. We actually played football. We got the ball down. Players look confident. Players look good on the ball. To be fair, some of them look like really quality players. That game, Ross Stewart, nice close football touches, winning headers, knocking them down. He was instrumental in most of the
I mean,
attacks.
there was an Arsenal fan after the game actually who could just hear that we were Sunderland fans talking on the way back the tube, and he actually said, "Who was that number 14 up front for you? He brought everything down tonight." I thought Stewart did have a good game as well. I thought it was good performances all over the pitch. I think the only really player who I think didn't perform very well was Denver Hume, which is
I was
understandable.
going to say he got
It,
ripped apart.
it almost became quite funny, to be honest, at times when every time Petty got the ball, he was just megging him or skinning him. But that's what happens when you have a £73 million right winger against a League One academy graduate who isn't
Well,
even our first choice left back.
well, this was the funny thing, right? Like, I heard on the commentary that they were saying, "Oh, Pepe back in the mix and all that. Oh, Pepe this, Pepe." I'm like, he's up against a League One defender. If Pepe wasn't doing that to a League One defender, there'd be questions asked. All
Yeah.
these players should be doing stuff. All like Odegaard was worth 40 million.
Ben White,
Eddie
50
Nketiah,
million.
Eddie Nketiah scored a hat trick. They're going on like he's the next Thierry Henry. Come on, he scored against he scored a hat trick against a League One team. It's nothing to brag about. Yeah, it's good to get a hat trick, but don't be going on like these are the best players ever. You're playing against a League One side. Yeah, we used to be in the Premiership, but the players we have is League One average at best.
Yeah.
And we'll give you a game. We even scored. The fact is that we scored against them.
Yeah,
I was
that's what I
buzzing.
was saying.
I was buzzing.
I mean, their fans were going on as if it was a rival game at the top of the Premier League. You know, the ones that were next to the away end, giving it large, and they almost seemed so proud of the fact that they were winning. It's like, look, the fact that we've actually came here gives us a fairly competitive game of football, which, if not for a handful of moments, could have maybe even had a different result. We scored a goal against us. To be honest, I think Arsenal should be walking away from that game a little bit concerned. Really,
Yeah, because we cut them apart a few times. It was just our lack of quality. If we had a bit more quality on the ball with our players, we would have probably created more chances and maybe got a couple of more goals. There was a few times where it was like we were coming down the right side and we just probably made the wrong pass or the wrong decision. Whereas them were making the right decisions because that's why they scored 5 goals. I mean, Pepe, every time he got past Hume, it was basically a guaranteed goal. I'm sure he
yeah.
megged him twice and he set up 2 goals every time he done it. Hume's miles off the pace, like so.
Yeah,
Off
I mean, we aren't going to sit here and slander him because I mean, you could have put probably anyone up against Pepe and they would have struggled. But I mean, you got to say every single time Pepe got the ball, he did absolutely skin him. But apart from that, I can't think of anyone who I wouldn't give at least a 6 out of 10 performance to.
Yeah, I mean, defense. like centre-back wise, we were solid until we had to change formation. I thought Gooch was doing okay, apart from his final ball at times where he overhit it.
Yeah. I thought Gooch did well to get up and down, but then when he got into the final 30, it showed that he wasn't, of that standard. You know what I mean? That's when we start getting exposed. I think a lot of the time it was when we had decisions to make. I remember Winchester very early on in the game, must have only been 3 or 4 minutes in, came down the right-hand side, had Broadhead and Stewart making their way into the box. Well, Broadhead, I think there was 1 or 2 of them making their way into the box. Wasn't really getting much pressure on him, but I think he just panicked a little bit and he tried to pass the ball just along the floor across the box.
I remember that.
It was just a little bit poor decision making. There was a few times Gooch kind of beat a man, and you get a bit of excitement, and instead of sticking the ball in, you might have beaten him again. Even Pritchard, who Pritchard was absolutely excellent, especially for the goal. He's been brilliant in recent weeks. Even Pritchard a few times kind of got into the box and hesitated for a moment, or didn't quite play the right pass. It was just those little small moments of extra quality that we didn't quite have that they obviously do. For example, that second goal, the time where, the overlap, Pepe knew where Cedric was going. Cedric plays the ball across and Pepe puts it in the back of the net. When we were doing that, there was maybe just one moment that let the whole movement down a little bit. But that's what you get. But no, I'm really proud of that performance. I'm proud that we came this far in the cup. That's the second round in a row that we were the lowest ranked team in the competition. The only non-Premier League team left in the quarterfinals. And, we went to Arsenal, a team full of Premier League regulars, a team probably worth maybe about 300, 400 million pound, and we actually gave them a game of football. It was competitive. On another day, if you exclude a few moments, you never know. You just never know. The result might have went slightly differently. One thing I would like to ask as well, and to be fair, this isn't even something I've thought about myself. Could you give a man of the match at all?
I mean, on first half performances, because I thought second half we were just not at the races. I mean, Daniel wasn't in the game the second half. Pritchard wasn't really popping up here and there. I mean, second half, on man of the match for the first half, I mean, there was loads. I mean, Pritchard was class. Daniel was great. Embleton was really, really good. Who am I gonna give it to? I think I'll give it to God, that's hard. It's actually really, really hard. I'm going to give it a Broadhead. He got the goal, and when he was on the pitch, he was dangerous. He wanted to run at players. He was really good on the ball. I mean, you could give it a handful of players. I mean, I thought Doyle in the first half, he made one mistake where he nearly cost me getting a goal, where he tried to play that pass and he got intercepted by Pepe. But other than that, his passing was mainly spot on. Just first half, everyone was really, really good. It was actually really good. It was actually really good to watch. That was the mad thing. I was like, we're gonna get thumped here. The first half was an actual pleasure to watch. We play against a Premier League team who are in top 4, by the way.
Yeah.
And we actually matched them for a little bit. We did. We matched them. We put them under pressure. And people will say, "Oh, Arsenal didn't get out of second gear." That's just your opinion. I think Arsenal started panicking a little bit. They were thinking the League One teams come here and put them under pressure.
I think they did look a little bit lackluster, but no one can see that they weren't at least going for it.
Well, I just think
you can only play what's in front of you, and at the end of the day, they're still a team in the Champions League spots.
Exactly, and this is a team who probably want to win this cup because
it's a big.
They're not going to win the Prem. They're not in any Europe. They're not in Europa League or Champions League or anything. So this is a cup they'll probably want to win. And the team, I mean, you look at Bert Leno. I mean, that bloke cost them how much? 30 million from a couple of seasons ago.
That's
Ben
right,
White, record signing this season.
Champions League football, hasn't he?
Aye. Ben White, £50 million defender. I mean, I'm trying to think who else. They've got Eddie Nketiah.
3 million. Odegaard, who was at Real Madrid and being dubbed as the next Messi, next Maradona, next Ronaldo, and all sorts. Do you know what is? Even players like Mohamed El Neni, he's played in the Premier League for Arsenal for 6-7 years now,
Tavares, next up-and-coming player, Balogun or whatever you call him, Eddie Nketiah. These are all promising young players who have a bright future, and obviously they might not have a bright future at Arsenal, but they have got bright futures ahead of them if they just keep their head on straight. So for that team, for us to match them in the first half was excellent, but just second half, I think the fitness showed and the quality showed. The quality showed.
Something I said when Peter it got about the 60th, 70th minute, and there might have only been about 2 or 3-1 at this point. I think I said it at 3-1, and Peter was saying like, "Oh, we are still in it here," and I think I said, "Well, yes, technically there was only 2 goals in it, but I think this is when they start to pick us off, when our legs get a little bit tired, and they've got the ability to bring on other great players off the bench, and we've not really got the same kind of magnitude. We had to bring Kimber Yorker on, and
I didn't understand that. I was baffled by that.
It was, when he came on with about 2 minutes
ago.
Probably just to give him a cameo, just so we can.
I'm not being funny. There's no player in this world who wants to come on for a minute. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, there's not one player.
I think he probably just came on just to kind of say that he played. Or players like O'Brien. What impact is he going to have against Arsenal? You know what I mean? It's just like, and I think it was in the kind of the final third of the game. The 20-30 minutes. That's where the last 20-30 minutes where I think I could see them picking us off, and they did in the end. They kind of went forward and had 2 or 3 goals in the last 35 minutes, 40 minutes or so, where with that initial first half where we were able to compete. You can't do that all game. Really, you've got to do something sensational, I think, to cater up. You've got to be sensational. They've got to massively underhit, and you've got to have a lot of luck. And I think in the end, it just, it kind of showed who the Premier League team was in that last kind of 20-30 minutes where we just weren't.
Can I ask you something? Do you know when he brought Hume on? Did you think that was the correct substitution to make? I
don't know who else we could have brought on. To be honest, it was probably either O'Brien or Broadhead were the only players you could bring on for a straight swap off the top of my head. I understand why I brought Hume on. It was probably one of the more senior players we had on the bench, and maybe he brought a little bit more balance to the team. I don't know. To be honest, I don't really want to delve into decisions made by Johnson, the players, too much, because whatever happened last night, we weren't really going to come away with anything.
But I'm only asking because I seen on Twitter, right, and I seen a couple of Sunderland fans going on like, why has he made that substitution? Why? He should be putting a striker on. And I was just like who? And someone said, Benji, put Benji on. And I'm just sitting there.
I think I'd rather put you on than Benji, Dino.
Again, it's that old chestnut of no matter what Johnson does, someone will criticise.
Yeah.
The team played class. He made a substitution. I'm not being funny. Hume isn't normally that bad. Hume's actually a lot better than that. But like you see, he's been injured. He's probably not match fit, like 100% fit. And he's up against a 72, 73 million pound player in Pepe. You know what I mean?
Against League One opposition, he doesn't look out of place, in my opinion. But you put him up against players like Pepe and Cedric and Nketiah and Blogan and all them, and they are going to rip us to shreds.
Well, can I just say, right, like that Cedric, he played class, right? But this is a guy who Arsenal fans don't want at the club. They reckon he's terrible, but he looked really good against us. But doesn't that just show you can look as good as you want against League One opposition? Yeah. It's when it comes to the Prem teams, and half of them some of them players are nowhere near good enough for the Prem. But we made them look good because they're playing against less opposition. So Cedric Suarez, we made him look a bit like Roberto Carlos yesterday. He was just bombing up and down, doing what he wanted. We wouldn't be able to do that in a Premier League team.
He was nearly as good as Carl Winchester.
To be fair, I enjoyed watching Carl Winchester at right wing back. Yeah, I thought he was playing really well. Him and Stuart linked up really well a lot of times.
I had a lot of question marks over him as a wing back because he doesn't really look very athletic. And I've often had concerns that I don't know if he'd be able to cover the ground unit as a wing back. But I think he showed last night that if we were to play 3 centre backs and we wanted someone to be a wing back, I think Winchester would be more than sufficient to play there, really.
Do you know what the worst thing is now? Because we've seen this isn't our strongest team by far. We've got loads of players out, all the injuries, blah blah blah. Right, we all know what's going on at Sunderland with the injuries, blah blah blah. Right, but the way we passed the ball in that first half, there was times where we were playing one touch in the corner of like keeping the ball like really well against these players. So now that should be the norm now. So if we don't play like that against Doncaster, whoever we've got next, there'll be questions going, how can you play like that against Arsenal? That one touch, lovely passing, confident on the ball and everything, and then you go to Doncaster and you can't play the same. And people will ask questions because you can't play like that against Arsenal and then just not know how to pass a ball against Doncaster. That has to be the normal now. Playing like that in the first half, that has to be the normal.
Yeah, and I think we've almost set the bar really with that performance of, if we can't match a certain standard now going into the remainder of the campaign, there are going to be questions over, well, you could do it at the Emirates, why can't you do it at the Keep Mode? You know what I mean? Or whatever else we're playing. But I think we've covered that sufficiently, I think.
Who would you give man a match anyway? Who would you give man a match?
Honestly, I couldn't even begin to think. I asked, to be honest, I asked you because I didn't know myself. I'll be tempted to say a Broadhead, but I hate giving players man of the match who don't like play at least most of the game. I know it's not his fault in the slightest, but like, do you know what it is? I hate doing things like this, but I'm just going to give it to the entire team because I think everyone played well. Everyone had at least a 6, 7 out of 10, apart from Hume. Everyone had at least a 6, 7 out of 10 performance, and everyone had a good few moments in the game.
I don't think we could really do anything on second half because we didn't do anything really, did we? Second half was just basically... It was just like a training match in the second half for Arsenal because, like you say, our legs went, their quality showed and their fitness showed. And like you say, they brought off a player and brought Xhaka on.
Yeah.
I mean, and Xhaka was playing like a proper great player, and Xhaka's average at best.
Yeah, and he captains his country. I think, is it Switzerland he's from? I might have got that wrong.
It might be Switzerland. It might be Switzerland. I don't know.
Like, it's a European country. Captains his country. You know, he's no mug. But I think we're going to leave that there. Dino, of course, thanks for coming on. Say goodbye to everyone.
Goodbye.
And thank you for everyone for tuning in. Once again, apologies, there has been no Thursday Night Live. We wanted to still give a mention to the game, but there's that many of us that are either a bit ill or got other stuff going on or whatever, that it wasn't really possible to do Thursday Night Live. But we should be back for a Sunday Bunch on Boxing Day. If not, we will try and let you know of any changes. And there might be a couple of other little alterations over the Christmas period. I know we're playing Sheffield Wednesday on a Thursday night, so we probably will be doing Thursday Night Live when it get changed for that. But yes, thank you everyone for tuning in. Please do like the video if you have enjoyed it. Remember, subscribing is free to do so as well and will be greatly appreciated. And for myself, Jack Dodson and Gina Welgar, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.